books she's published with her and her husband, and she does a lot in terms with preserving Baton Rouge's history, particularly the bus boycott and the movement that led to what inspired Dr. King based on the bus boycotts here in Baton Rouge. So Ms. White, I know that you have a lot to discuss with us, and we're happy that you're here to join us.
Thank you. I'm inspired by much of the work that you all are doing, and I'm pleased to say that I'm a part of that work as well. So it doesn't stop with you, it continues on. My name is Robin White Clark, and I'm a teacher, Baton Rouge native, but not only a teacher, I'm a national board certified teacher. If you don't know what that means, I'm in the top 3% in the nation in my category, and that is early childhood. Being a Baton Rouge native, I found out in 2019 that there was a Baton Rouge bus boycott. I thought that was peculiar, so I'm a teacher. My mom was a teacher, and I was never taught. And I did graduate from the Baton Rouge High. But I also went to Southern University as well, graduated there too, just saying that as well. But in my matriculation through college, never once was it mentioned, through elementary school, never once was it mentioned that there was a Baton Rouge bus boycott, and I lived. I wasn't alive at that time. And so when I found out about it in 2019, I started doing some research. I figured I'd find an article or two, I figured I'd find a little book or something, and there was nothing. There was an article, there was a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it was scattered, it was in broken pieces, and I thought, well, why isn't anyone telling the story? Why isn't it put together in at least some format that you could just read about it? Just let me get the book and let me take a look at it. And so it didn't exist. And during 2019, there was a celebration, an event at the McKinley Alumni Association. And it was to celebrate the placement of a bench by the side of the road. And I wrote this poem in honor of that celebration. I attended library meetings. I learned about the legacy of what had happened. I got some oral history going on, and I got the story. And then I got the buzz. I needed to tell the story. And why? Because no one else did. And no one else put it out there. And here it is. I'm a teacher. I didn't know. And I've taught years and years of students, and I couldn't pass it on. So it was upon me to do it. And so in 2020, around January 2020, the Holy Spirit came. And if you know what the Holy Spirit is, I had a fire. And I could not stop until I produced the book, The Baton Rouge Bus Boycott, the mark that could not be erased. And it is the poem that I read, that I created at that time. And I took photographs, I went into archives of families, my own and others, and I got permission to use the pictures, or I used my own, and I told it in the poem in picture form. And then I also did a children's version. Because what? You tell the story, and then what? You teach the children. And as an educator, that's what I had to do. And so I wrote this book. And so 2020, imagine this, it's February 2020. I had not met the person who sat on the bus. So if you don't know the story, many of us did not or do not. It was a segregated South. So the buses were segregated. In front of the bus were 2 seats, and they went parallel to the walls of the bus. And then the rest of the seats were normal, like that, okay? And then that back seat was a bench seat, all right? So those parallel seats, which were right behind the bus driver and that one by that other wall, were for whites only. And all of the seats in the middle, at that time, were segregated. So at some point there would be a line. So if you were black, you were behind the line. That's where that saying goes, the back of the bus. And if you were white, you sat in front of that sign in the front of the bus. Well, imagine being a housekeeper and walking miles to the bus stop, which was probably not in your black neighborhood. And you went to work at a white household, and as a housekeeper, you stood all day and you worked. And imagine now walking after your long day on your feet, walking back to a bus in that neighborhood, and then riding a bus standing, because you could not only sit in the bus, you had to stand through the white neighborhoods. So if you were on that bus, you may have to just stand because it was improper to sit while you traversed through the white neighborhood. And so at some point, when the lady by the name of Martha White got on the bus, she was tired, and the only available seat was one. It was that one seat right behind the bus driver, but it was white only. She was tired. She sat down. She was real tired. Probably tired in more ways than one. More than just tired from standing and working, tired from walking, and just tired. That real cultural tired where I've had it, I'm done. Do whatever you're gonna do. This is it. I'm spent. And so she sat down. And so the bus driver said, oh, well, by the way, it's not happening here. Get up. And so she got up, because you know that's the law, right? You're gonna get up. And she even told him, I'll get up if someone white gets on the bus. I'll get up. And so that wasn't good enough. You have to get up. She didn't get up. And the back of the bus, or the black of the bus, you know what they said. Go ahead and sit down. Stay seated. You don't have to get up. You're tired. You know, you're tired like we are tired. So not only the improperness of sitting in the white seat, but that cultural pull of, you know, you're human. This is inequitable. You deserve to sit as well. And so that's how the Baton Rouge bus boycott began in June of 1953, because Martha White, who died this past June 5th, and was buried today on Juneteenth, the first Juneteenth. So I'm coming from a funeral, her funeral. She was 99 years old. She died just a few weeks ago. And most people don't know the story. And just to sum it all up, it was the blueprint for what we know as the Montgomery, Alabama March, the Martin Luther King thing, the Rosa Parks thing. We started that. We were first. She was first. And I'm sure it happened in different ways in other places. But just so you know, I got the writing bug. Not only did I write this book, I wrote the coloring book, and I wrote in 2020 a total of 5 books. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I teach. And so if you got somebody going to pre-K this year, I'm your girl.
Thank you so very much for being here with us. And I know that we're pressed for time, but I'd like individuals to go to her table and purchase a book, you know, for yourself, for your children, your grandchildren, friends, cousins, and support her in all the great work that she's doing. And now we have one of my fellow Rotary Club members. We have Ms. Carey. And so she does lots